Hello. I'm really glad you're here with me today. Wherever you are listening from right now, maybe on your way home, maybe sitting quietly in your room, maybe lying in bed after a long day, I want you to know something first. You don't need to rush. You don't need to understand every word perfectly. Just be here with me. Today, I want to talk about something very real, something many of us feel but rarely talk about honestly. Why do we bring work stress home? Why does work follow us into the kitchen, into the living room, into our bed, into our thoughts, even when the workday is already over? This is not just an episode about work, and it's not just an episode about stress. It's about how we carry things inside us. It's about how language, emotions, and daily life quietly connect. And it's about learning English through something deeply human. Let me start with a small moment from my own life. I remember one evening very clearly. I had finished work. I closed my laptop. I shut down the screen, and technically, the day was over. But my body didn't know that. I walked home slowly. The sky was already dark. The streetlights were on. People were laughing outside a cafe, talking loudly, enjoying their evening. And I remember thinking, why can't I feel like that? When I opened the door to my apartment, everything was quiet. Too quiet. I put my bag down. I took off my shoes. I stood there for a moment, not moving. My shoulders were tight. My jaw was clenched. My mind was still at work. I hadn't brought my laptop home, but I had brought the stress. Have you ever felt that you're home, but you're not really home? Repeat after me, slowly, gently. I'm home, but my mind is still at work. Try it again. I'm home, but my mind is still at work. This sentence is simple, but it carries a lot of feeling. That night, I tried to relax. I cooked dinner. I turned on some music. I even sat down to watch something light and funny. But my thoughts kept interrupting me. Did I answer that email correctly? Why did my manager look disappointed today? What if I made a mistake? What if tomorrow is even worse? My food was on the table, but I wasn't tasting it. The music was playing, but I wasn't hearing it. I was home physically, but emotionally, I was still sitting at my desk. Sometimes, stress doesn't knock on the door. It just walks in with you. Let me tell you another story. This one might sound very familiar. There was a period in my life when every day felt heavy, not dramatic, not terrible, just heavy. In the morning, I woke up tired. At work, I smiled and said, I'm fine. In the evening, I came home exhausted. And when people asked me, how was your day? I said, it was okay. But okay was not the truth. Okay was a mask. Repeat after me, it was okay. Now say it again, but listen to how it feels. It was okay. Sometimes, when we say okay, we really mean I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know how to explain how I feel. One evening, a friend invited me out. Just a simple dinner. Nothing special. I almost said no. I wanted to stay home, but not because I wanted to rest. I wanted to stay home because I didn't have the energy to be myself. That's when I realized something important. Work stress doesn't just make us tired, it makes us smaller. It takes up space inside a space that used to belong to joy, curiosity, and connection. When stress comes home with us, it sits on the couch. It eats dinner with us. It sleeps next to us. And slowly, we begin to think. Maybe this is just who I am now. But that's not true. Let's slow down here for a moment. Repeat after me, this is stress. This is not who I am. Again, this is stress. This is not who I am. Now, let's talk about language, not grammar, not rules, but real language, the kind you use in your life. There are a few phrases we often use when stress follows us home. I can't switch off. Say it with me. I can't switch off. This phrase is very common. It means your mind keeps working, even when you don't want it to. Another one is I keep thinking about work. Try saying it slowly. I keep thinking about work. Notice how these sentences describe a feeling, not just an action. When we say them out loud, something interesting happens. The feeling becomes visible, and when something is visible, it becomes easier to understand. Let me share a small, quiet moment. One night, after a long day, I sat on my bed and did nothing. No phone, no music, no distraction. I asked myself one simple question: what am I really carrying right now? Not what happened today, but what am I carrying? At first, the answer was unclear, just noise. Then slowly, words came. Pressure, fear, the need to be perfect, the fear of disappointing someone. These were not tasks, these were emotions. And this is important. We don't bring work home because of work itself. We bring work home because of how work makes us feel. Repeat after me, it's not the work, it's the feeling. Again, it's not the work, it's the feeling. When you learn English, and you learn how to name feelings, you are doing something powerful. You are creating space between you and the stress. Let me give you another real-life scene. Imagine this. You walk through your front door. You drop your keys on the table. You sigh a long, deep sigh. Someone asks, "Are you okay?" And you say, "I'm just tired." But inside, you feel more than tired. You feel tense. You feel unappreciated. You feel invisible. You feel like you are always giving and never fully resting. Now, try saying this instead just to yourself. I'm not just tired, I'm emotionally exhausted. Repeat it softly. I'm not just tired, I'm emotionally exhausted. This kind of language doesn't make the stress disappear, but it makes the experience honest. And honesty is the beginning of relief. I think many of us learned very early in life to separate work and home, at least in theory. Work is outside, home is safe. But modern life doesn't work like that anymore. Emails arrive at night, messages arrive on weekends, expectations follow us everywhere. And even when no one contacts us, our own thoughts continue the job. Sometimes we are our own strictest boss. I've been there. I remember lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying conversations from work. Why did I say that? Why didn't I say more? Why didn't I speak up? My body was resting. My mind was working overtime. And the next morning I woke up already tired. Have you felt that cycle? If you have, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not weak. You are not bad at managing stress. You are human. Repeat after me, I'm human. This is human. Again, I'm human. This is human. Now let's gently shift. I want to show you how English can become a soft place, not another pressure. Think about this sentence. I need time to decompress. Say it with me. I need time to decompress. This means you need time to release pressure, to slowly return to yourself. Another one, I need a mental break. Try it. I need a mental break. When you learn these expressions, you are not just learning English. You are learning how to speak kindly to yourself. One evening, I started a small habit. When I came home from work, I didn't immediately do anything. I didn't open my phone. I didn't check messages. I sat down. I closed my eyes, and I said one sentence in my mind. The workday is over. Repeat after me. The workday is over. Simple, calm, clear. At first, it felt silly, but over time, my body began to listen. Language can be a bridge between the mind and the body. When you say something slowly, gently, repeatedly, your nervous system hears it. Another sentence I used was, I don't need to solve everything tonight. Say it with me. I don't need to solve everything tonight. How does that feel? Sometimes stress comes home because we believe rest must be earned. But rest is not a reward. Rest is a requirement. I want to share one more story. There was a weekend when I did nothing productive, no achievements, no progress, no improvement. I slept late. I walked slowly. I cooked a simple meal. I watched the light change in the room. At first, guilt appeared. You should be doing more. You're wasting time. But then something else happened. The noise inside me became quieter. And I realized, when stress finally leaves, it doesn't run. It walks out slowly. If you're listening to this and thinking, that sounds nice, but my life is too busy, I understand. This is not about changing your life completely. It's about changing how you speak to yourself inside your life. Try this tonight. When you come home, say one honest sentence in English. Maybe today was heavy. Repeat it. Today was heavy. Or I did my best today. Say it slowly. I did my best today. These sentences don't fix everything, but they acknowledge reality. And acknowledgement is powerful. I think when we bring work stress home, what we really bring is unmet needs. The need to be seen, the need to be appreciated, the need to rest without guilt. Language gives shape to those needs. And when you practice English through your real life, not textbooks, not perfect sentences, something changes. English becomes a mirror. English becomes a companion. English becomes a way to breathe. If you're feeling tired right now, listening to this, I want you to know something. You are not falling behind. You are carrying a lot. And you're still here. You're still learning. You're still trying. That matters. Take a deep breath with me and say this quietly. Kindly, I'm allowed to rest. Again, I'm allowed to rest. Before we finish, I want to leave you with one final thought. When we talk about our day, when we name our stress, our tiredness, our quiet emotions, we are not just practicing English. We are practicing awareness. And awareness is the first step toward change. You are not just learning English. You are learning how to notice, how to slow down, how to express your inner world with honesty. And that is a lifelong skill. Thank you for spending this time with me. And before you turn this off, before you move on to the next part of your day, I want to stay with you a little longer. Because stress doesn't disappear just because we understand it. Understanding is gentle, but living is ongoing. So let's keep walking together for a while. I want you to imagine something very simple. You've come home after work. The door closes behind you. There is a small moment of silence, just 1 second, before the noise of your thoughts starts again. In that tiny moment, your body is asking a question. Am I safe now? Most of us don't realize this, but stress is not logical. Stress lives in the body, not in the calendar. Your body doesn't know that working hours are finished. It only knows patterns. If your days are full of pressure, your body learns pressure. And when you come home, the pressure doesn't automatically leave. This is why you might feel restless even when nothing is happening. This is why you might feel irritated with people you love. This is why small things feel big at night. Let me say this clearly, because many people need to hear it. If you bring work stress home, it does not mean you love your job too much. It does not mean you are weak. It means your system has not learned how to let go yet. Repeat after me. Slowly, my body is still holding on. Again, my body is still holding on. When I first realized this, I stopped blaming myself. I stopped saying, "What's wrong with me?" and I started asking, "What do I need right now?" That question changed everything. Not big answers, small ones. Sometimes the answer was silence. Sometimes it was a shower warm water, nothing else. Sometimes it was walking without music, just listening to my steps. And sometimes it was language. Quiet language, honest language. I would say to myself, today ask too much from me. Try saying that. Today ask too much from me. Notice how different that feels from I'm not strong enough. One sentence carries kindness. The other carries judgment. Language shapes the way we carry our experiences. And this is why learning English through real life matters so much. Because when you only learn correct English, you learn how to speak. But when you learn emotional English, you learn how to live. Let me tell you about a moment that surprised me. One evening, I was sitting at the table doing nothing important, and suddenly I felt angry. Not at anyone, just angry. At first, I tried to ignore it. Then I asked myself, what is this anger protecting? The answer came quietly. It was protecting my exhaustion. I had said yes too many times. I had stayed quiet too many times. I had pushed myself past my limits too many times. And work stress followed me home because I never gave myself permission to stop being professional. Have you ever felt that, like you are still performing, even at home? Still polite, still controlled, still holding everything together? Say this sentence with me. I don't need to perform at home. Again, I don't need to perform at home. For many people, this is harder than it sounds. Because home has become another place of responsibility, another place where you must be okay. But home can be relearned. Not as a place where stress disappears, but as a place where stress is allowed to soften. I want to give you a small language practice now, not a lesson, just an invitation. Think about your last workday. Not the whole day, just one moment that stayed with you. Maybe a comment, maybe a silence, maybe a mistake, maybe something unfinished. Now describe that moment in one simple sentence in English, without judgment. For example, that meeting left me tense. Say it slowly. That meeting left me tense. Or I felt pressure to be perfect. Try it. I felt pressure to be perfect. Notice how these sentences don't explain everything. They don't analyze. They simply name. Naming is powerful. When something has a name, it no longer lives everywhere inside you. It has a place. And when stress has a place, it doesn't have to follow you everywhere. I think this is one reason why people feel calmer when they talk, even when nothing is solved. They are not fixing the problem. They are containing it. Language is a container. And English can be that container for you, too. You don't need advanced vocabulary. You don't need perfect pronunciation. You need honesty and gentleness. I remember a time when I thought rest meant doing something useful, reading something smart, learning something new, improving myself. But real rest is different. Real rest feels slightly uncomfortable at first because it removes distraction, and when distraction leaves, feelings arrive. That's when many people reach for their phones, or work again, or stay busy. Not because they want to work, but because silence feels unsafe. If this sounds familiar, I want you to know you are not broken. You are just not used to stillness yet. Repeat after me, stillness feels unfamiliar. Again, stillness feels unfamiliar. And unfamiliar does not mean dangerous. It just means new. Over time, I learned to create a small transition between work and home. Not a big ritual, just one sentence and one action. The sentence was, I'm allowed to change gears. Say it with me. I'm allowed to change gears. The action was simple. I changed clothes immediately. That small physical change told my body, something is different now. Stress needs signals. The body listens to signals. If you finish work and immediately continue thinking, scrolling, worrying, your body thinks the day is still going. But if you give it a clear, kind signal, it slowly learns. I want to talk about guilt for a moment. Because guilt often brings work stress home. Guilt for not doing enough. Guilt for resting. Guilt for wanting more. Many people carry this sentence inside them, I should be able to handle this. Say it with me. I should be able to handle this. Now let's change it slightly. I'm doing my best with what I have. Try that. I'm doing my best with what I have. Feel the difference. One sentence tightens the chest, the other opens it. This is not positive thinking. This is realistic compassion. And compassion is not weakness. It is sustainability. Without compassion, stress has nowhere to go, so it stays. I want to slow down again here. If you're listening at night, maybe your body is already tired. Let your shoulders drop a little. And listen to this. You don't need to carry today into tomorrow. Say it with me. I don't need to carry today into tomorrow. Again, I don't need to carry today into tomorrow. You can remember lessons. You can remember facts. But you don't need to carry emotional weight forward. That weight deserves rest. Sometimes when people learn English with me, they tell me they feel embarrassed speaking about emotions. They say, I don't know the right words. But the right words are usually simple. Tired, overwhelmed, pressured, drained. These are not weak words. They are accurate words. Accuracy is clarity. Clarity is calm. And calm is something you can practice one sentence at a time. If work stress has been visiting your home lately, I want you to try one thing this week. Not every day, just once. Sit down, take a breath, and speak out loud in English one true sentence about your day. Not a summary, not a complaint, just truth. Today was demanding. Today felt long. Today asked more than I expected. When you do this, you are not complaining. You are releasing. And release is necessary. I believe this deeply. When we learn how to speak about our inner world, we stop leaking stress into every corner of our life. Work stays at work not because we force it to leave, but because it finally feels heard. You are learning English. But more than that, you are learning how to come home not just to a place, but to yourself. And that takes time. Be patient with that process. Thank you for staying with me until the end. And even now, as we continue, I want to remind you again, there is no rush. Nothing you need to achieve by listening to this. Just let the words arrive and let them leave when they need to. Sometimes work stress comes home with us because we never truly arrive anywhere. At work, we are already thinking about the next task. On the way home, we are replaying what just happened. At home, we are worrying about tomorrow. So the present moment never gets our full attention. And when the present moment feels empty, the mind fills it with work. I remember one night, standing in my kitchen, holding a glass of water, that's all. Just water, just standing. And suddenly I noticed I was breathing very fast. Nothing was wrong. No emergency, no deadline at that moment. But my body was still in work mode. That was a quiet realization. Stress doesn't always feel loud. Sometimes it feels like constant readiness. Always alert, always prepared, always tense. Say this sentence with me, my body is still on alert. Again, my body is still on alert. When you understand this, something important shifts. You stop asking, why can't I relax? And you start asking, what is my body trying to protect me from? Often, the answer is not today. It's accumulation. Days of pressure, weeks of responsibility, months of holding yourself together. Stress doesn't arrive all at once. It builds quietly. That's why rest also needs to be gentle and consistent, not dramatic. Many people wait for a vacation to feel better. But stress doesn't disappear just because the location changes. If your mind doesn't feel safe resting, it will bring work stress anywhere you go. Even to the beach, even to bed, even into your dreams. Have you ever dreamed about work? Meetings, deadlines, being late, being unprepared. That's not weakness. That's your mind asking for space. Repeat after me, my mind needs space. Again, my mind needs space. Language like this creates permission. And permission is powerful. I want to talk about something very subtle now, something many people don't notice. When we bring work stress home, we often bring a voice with it. An inner voice. Maybe it sounds like a manager. Maybe it sounds like a teacher. Maybe it sounds like your own expectations. It says things like, you should have done more. That wasn't good enough. You can't relax yet. That voice doesn't clock out. And when it keeps talking, Rest feels undeserved. Let me tell you something important. That voice learned its job somewhere, but it does not have to run your life. You can respond to it not with anger, but with calm. I used to say this sentence quietly when that voice appeared. Thank you. I'll take it from here. Try saying it. Thank you. I'll take it from here. This sentence does something gentle. It acknowledges the voice without obeying it. And again, this is not about fighting stress. It's about softening it. Stress hardens us. Language softens us. One evening, after a particularly heavy day, I didn't try to feel better. Instead, I tried to feel accurate. I asked myself, what is the exact feeling right now? Not tired, not bad. More specific. The word that came was drained. Say it with me, I feel drained. Again, I feel drained. When you choose accurate words, your body relaxes a little, because it feels understood. This is something children naturally do. They say, I'm scared, I'm sad, I'm tired. Adults often say, I'm fine. And stress lives inside that gap. English, when used gently, can help you close that gap. You don't need long explanations. You don't need perfect sentences. One true sentence is enough. Let's practice another one. I need quiet time. Say it slowly. I need quiet time. This sentence is not selfish, it's preventative. It stops stress from spreading. I think many people feel guilty for needing rest because they confuse rest with laziness. But laziness avoids life. Rest prepares you for it. There is a big difference. If work stress follows you home, it may be because you haven't fully allowed yourself to stop being useful. You are allowed to exist without producing. Repeat after me, I don't have to be useful right now. Again, I don't have to be useful right now. Notice how your body reacts to that sentence. Maybe resistance appears, maybe relief, maybe both. That's okay. Let it be there. I want to share a very quiet habit that helped me. At the end of the day, I would ask myself one question in English. What can wait until tomorrow? Say it with me. What can wait until tomorrow? And the answer was almost always, most things. Very few things truly need your energy at night. Your mind may disagree, but your body knows. Another sentence I used was, tonight is for recovery. Try saying it. Tonight is for recovery. Recovery is not quitting, it's maintenance. Just like sleep, just like breathing. When you skip recovery, stress has no exit. So it stays. I want to gently remind you of something. You are not behind. You are tired. Those are not the same. Repeat after me, I'm not behind. I'm tired. Again, I'm not behind. I'm tired. This sentence alone has helped many people breathe more easily. If you're learning English, you might think your vocabulary is small. But emotional vocabulary doesn't need to be big. It needs to be honest. And honesty builds trust with others and with yourself. Sometimes, bringing work stress home is a sign that something inside you wants attention. Not a problem to fix, a message to hear. And messages don't shout forever. They shout until they are acknowledged. As we slowly come toward the end of this time together, I want you to remember this. You don't need to be calm all the time. You don't need to be relaxed immediately. You just need moments of safety. Moments where you tell yourself, through language, I'm here now. Say it with me, I'm here now. Again, I'm here now. Let this sentence be a door that work stress doesn't need to walk through. Thank you for staying with me, for listening with openness, and for letting English be part of your real life, not just a subject, but a companion. And even after saying all of that, I want to stay just a little longer because there is one more quiet layer to this experience that many people never put into words. Sometimes, we bring work stress home not because work is hard, but because we don't feel complete there. We leave things unsaid. We leave feelings unfinished. We leave parts of ourselves behind. And when something is unfinished, it follows us. I remember a day when nothing bad happened at work. No conflict, no mistake, no criticism. And yet I came home feeling heavy. It took me a while to understand why. I had spent the entire day being careful. Careful with my words. Careful with my tone. Careful with my opinions. I had been professional, but not fully myself. And when you do that for hours, your body keeps the tension. Because self-control is still effort. Repeat this sentence with me. Being professional still takes energy. Again, being professional still takes energy. This is something many people forget. Even if your job is calm, even if your workplace is polite, even if no one is shouting, holding yourself in one shape all day is tiring. So when you come home, your system doesn't relax, it collapses. That's why some people feel numb at night. That's why some people feel emotional for no clear reason. That's why small things suddenly feel overwhelming. Your body is saying, I can finally stop. But stopping can feel scary if you're not used to it. I used to feel strange on quiet evenings, almost uncomfortable. I would think, shouldn't I be doing something? That question itself was stress talking. So I learned to answer it gently. I would say, no. Right now, being is enough. Say it with me. Being is enough. Again, being is enough. This sentence doesn't solve problems. It softens the space around them. And when space appears, stress has somewhere to go. Another reason work stress comes home is because many people don't feel emotionally acknowledged during the day. You finish tasks, you meet expectations, but no one says, that was hard, or I see your effort. So your nervous system keeps waiting. Waiting to be seen, waiting to be recognized, waiting to be told, you did enough. If that never comes from outside, we must learn to offer it to ourselves. This is not weakness. This is emotional maturity. Try this sentence now, even if it feels unfamiliar. I worked hard today. Say it slowly. I worked hard today. Notice if your mind tries to argue. That's not true. I could have done more. That argument is not truth. It's habit. Let the sentence exist anyway. I worked hard today. Sometimes stress stays because effort goes unnamed, and unnamed effort becomes exhaustion. I want to share a very small moment. One evening I was washing dishes, nothing special, warm water, quiet room, and I realized something. I was no longer thinking about work, not because I forced it out, but because my body finally felt safe enough to let it go. That safety didn't come from distraction. It came from permission. permission to slow down, permission to be imperfect, permission to end the day. You don't need hours to create that permission. Sometimes one sentence is enough. The day is done. Say it with me. The day is done. Again, the day is done. This sentence marks an ending. And endings matter. Without clear endings, stress thinks it must stay awake. I think this is why language rituals are so powerful. Not rituals like ceremonies, but small, repeated phrases that tell your body what time it is emotionally. Morning language wakes you up. Evening language lets you rest. If you never speak the evening language, your system stays in daytime mode. Try creating one sentence that you only use at night. It could be, I can let go now. Say it. I can let go now. Even if you don't fully believe it, repetition teaches the body. And the body learns through kindness, not force. I want to say something important to you as a learner of English. Your English does not need to sound impressive to be meaningful. Simple sentences carry deep truth. And deep truth is what calms the nervous system. Not complexity, not perfection, just truth. If work stress has been part of your evenings lately, please don't turn that into another problem to fix. Let it be information. Information about your limits. Information about your needs. Information about where you might need softness instead of strength. You are allowed to need recovery. You are allowed to feel affected by your work. You are allowed to learn how to come home slowly. And you are allowed to use English as a gentle companion in that process. Not as a test, not as pressure, but as a way to say, this is my life. This is how it feels. That kind of language is powerful. That kind of learning stays with you. Thank you for staying here with me, for listening not just with your ears, but with your whole self. And now, as we gently come toward the end of this journey together, I want to slow everything down one last time. Not to teach, not to explain, just to sit with you in this quiet understanding. Because when work stress comes home with us, what we are really longing for is not a solution. We are longing for permission to stop holding everything alone. I want you to imagine tonight or whenever you listen to this as a soft landing. Nothing to prove, nothing to improve, nothing to fix before resting. Just a moment where you let yourself be exactly as you are. Tired, maybe. Quiet, maybe. Still thinking, maybe. All of that is okay. Sometimes, the most healing thing we can say to ourselves is not positive or motivational. It's honest. So I want to leave you with a few final sentences. You don't need to repeat all of them. Just listen and notice which one stays with you. I did enough for today. I don't need to carry this into the night. My worth is not measured by my productivity. Rest is part of my life, not a reward. Let those sentences exist inside you without pressure. Work will still be there tomorrow. Responsibilities will still exist. Life will continue. But tonight, this moment belongs to you. And when you learn how to protect moments like this, stress slowly learns where it is not needed. You are not escaping your life. You are learning how to stay whole inside it. And that is something worth practicing in any language. Thank you for trusting me with your time, your attention, and your inner world. This is English with Thomas. I'm Thomas. Keep speaking, keep growing, and keep trusting yourself.